Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited. Can you see the chaos on my desk? So I go through the curiosity box after I turn off the camera from the unboxing, and I sort everything into little baggies, and then I start to like pull out the baggies that I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a project with. So that's what this is here, and then I go and get extra stuff that I have to make these projects. Oh, and you know what? I forgot something. No, I did pull it out. Where did I put it? There's so much stuff. So I'll start with the second project we're going to do. It's not finished, but I did some work on it and it looks amazing. So I get so excited. I can't wait to show you. Take a look. So this is the pressed howlite. So I got a few of the kind of crackled ones, the crackled look or antique look. And I thought I'd start with that to bezel. And that's what it looks like. Oh my gosh, it looks so amazing. And so yeah, this one, I feel like it might be slightly big, so I'm going to do two less beads. But anyway, we're going to do this one. It's going to be so much fun. And we are going to put stuff all over this bezel. It's so much. I'm guessing you could do an earring with this, but by the time we're finished, it's going to be way too big for that. So I think I don't know if I'll put a drop here. Maybe. But it'll be a necklace or a pendant. Yeah, I'm looking at, what do we have? We have these amazing crystals we could do a necklace with, but that's going to end up being very heavy. So yeah, anyway, we'll get to that. Let's take a look at this project. So let me put that back in my little dish. And I want, now that you've seen the chaos of my desk, this was so bad. I had like a little corner. And this is what we're going to make today. So we're going to make these lovely earrings. They kind of look like an old style lantern. So maybe we'll call them lantern earrings. I think it can be a little better in focus. There. So you can use whatever ear wires you have. This will look beautiful with whatever you have. I like to use the closed huggies for something that's heavy, just so that they don't come off your ear. But I mean, if you have a long ear hook, it's not going to matter. I have a cat that's peeking through the door, wants to come and join us. So let's get started on this. We're going to use these lovely, gorgeous green pearls. I believe they're 14 millimeter. They're like a light green or a pastel green. Yeah, these are 14. And we're going to use these lovely drops. And I didn't realize when I did the unboxing that the drops we got, I think all but these kind of this one doesn't have it, these kind of like textured ones, all of these are open holes, like totally open, but these are all top drill. Look, there's no hole at the bottom. That is so exciting because you know what, it's rare for me to ever get some top drilled ones. I mean, it's not a big deal. You can put a couple of beads at the bottom to hold everything up, but I love using these guys. So if you don't have one of these, I'm trying to think what you could do. Yeah, I never even thought of that if you don't have that. Let me think about this. I'll probably come up with it by the end. But these are super cheap to buy. Um, Let me show you what they look like. I glued mine in already just because when I was making this one, you can see it's actually off to the side. I may have to take it out and re-glue it. You see how it's off to the side? So it was somewhat dry, but not cured. And when I was attaching it, it moved a bit. So I glued it, and of course, it glued crooked. So for on camera, I just like to have them already done. But let me show you what they look like. So, like I said, they're super cheap. You can get them pretty much anywhere. And I wish I knew what they called them, so you know what to look for. So they have the round kind of loop, and then this little cap thing and a prong. So you can get them in different sizes and different, gold and silver colors. Different. So you're going to need that. You're going to need, no, we don't need a stop bead. You're going to need an ear wire or a set of ear wire because you're going to make two. You're going to use some thread. I decided I just got this lovely thread from John Bead. This is the Miyuki beading thread, and it's gold, so I wanted to test it out. You can use whatever beading thread you want. What we're doing is you don't need a whole lot of like super strong thread or anything, and nothing really shows. Actually, this would probably go better because I use these light green Preciosa crystals. And if you look really closely, you can see the gold thread. So you might want to use white instead. The white might not show up as much. But I mean, you really can't see that. So you're going to need some 11-0 beads. I'm using, what do they call these? Golden flax or something? No, that's not the ones. I have way too much stuff on my desk. Silk light gold seed beads. We're going to need some more of these. Now, I used 4mm and 6mm Swarovski pearls. Bright gold is what I used. So we have these guys here, and these here, which after those necklaces I'm running out. So we need two of these. We might as well grab those. You can use whatever you have again. So there's two 6mm, and you'll need 12 of the 4mm. Let's get those out. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're going to need, there's 3 and 3. So you're going to need 6 4mm crystals. These are bicones. You can use whatever you have. Again, I'm sure if we went back to some of the older boxes that we have, that there's probably something you could use for that. Let me get those. They're right here. I don't know why I'm looking anywhere but on my desk. Oh, so these are the Preciosa. There's 4, 5, 6. I tested it out with different colors of the crystals, like maybe the gold or an opal, and the one that looked the best was this. It really brings out the green, and I like this design, but I hate to cover up this gorgeous pearl. Those we're going to use later. So let's get started. You're going to need a size 12 needle. You can use a larger needle if you feel you can handle that needle better. So, but definitely the 6 will help you get through. So I am going to take a wingspan. And just for clarification, I'm sure most people know what a wingspan is. It's basically if you put your arms outstretched away from each other and pull the thread in between, that will give you a wingspan. It's kind of a silly measurement when you think of it, because everybody has a different wingspan. But you know what? If I said to you, take 200 centimeters, you might be like, huh? So use what you got. So I'm just gently stretching this. So go ahead and thread your needle. This is going to be interesting. So this design I did adding the 6mm pearls, like all of this right away, and it was such a pain because, as you can see, when you go through the bottom, you have to go through back up the top and doing this. It's hard to know where your needle is going through this stuff. So this time I'm doing it quite different. It'll make it a lot easier for you. Not to mention I have the numbers of how many beads. When I was figuring it out, it was kind of hard. So you're going to start with your first 6 pearls. And let's enlarge this and get in here. There we go. So pick up 6 pearls. I think my needle's like bent. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There. I'm going to bring it down to the bottom. We're going to tie this in a loop, creating a loop with your pearls. And the camera does its own thing. I can never remember every time I zoom in or zoom out, it resets the focus. And I could never remember that because my old camera did it stayed in focus. So it's one of those things. I'll probably get used to it when I need a new camera. So get your knot there. Let me just see. That's in pretty good. So I'm not going to bother with a third knot. I'm just going to clip that like that. And we'll pass that little tail inside to hide it. I just don't want to poke with a knot. That. There. Oh, look. Okay, maybe I needed the third knot. Ugh. I had a feeling I felt something pop when I pulled it through. So let's, I'm glad I caught it before they all came off. You know what I think? I'm not used to using this. This Miyuki thread is waxed, so that's kind of why I like using it. It's very silky, but your knots. It's good if you want to take a knot out. It becomes very easy to do that. But let's do a third knot just to be sure. And I'll pull on both ends. And cut this. Actually, we're going to do this again with the other one because we actually don't need to. Let me think about this. Yeah, we'll get the we're going to get away from that knot, and I'll show you. You don't actually have to pull the knot in because we're going to end up beading around this. But in the meantime, we do need, yeah, I didn't think this through. So because we need a top and a bottom to go around the pearl. I'm wondering, you know what? Let's try this. We're gonna get all fancy like. So we are gonna go through the pearl like this. And we're gonna do the second loop. No, you know what? I think that's making it too complicated. So let's cut the thread on this one. There's one. Let's make our second one. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. I don't even remember how I did it yesterday. I was in a beading fugue state. I'm gonna have to start videotaping myself so I can remember. That's pretty bad. So let's get a knot in here, create a loop, make sure this knot stays in place. And I'm putting a third knot in. Safeguard. I see so many people only put 2 knots. I'm like, oh, I should be good. It never fails every time I do it. It doesn't work. So just leave a bit of a tail there. You won't see it once you see what we're doing here. I think if we put these on and secure it with a bead. Here's the other thing I didn't mention is I'm using these little teacup beads. So we could actually put a seed bead underneath that and then the teacup because when I did it with this, you can see the threads I had to. You don't need the teacup bead if you don't have any of these. These, when I saw these, I was like, these are adorable. I need them. 2mm size. I'm guessing they have other sizes. Okay. So let's try to decide what to do. Okay, I got an idea. No, we need these, we need the holes up and down. I was going to attach it this way, but then your hole wouldn't be in the right place. So again, we're just going to scooch over here. And cut the thread. This is the only problem when you design stuff and then show, like usually when I wasn't so busy, I would make like about 5 or 6 sets of these. And then by the time the video is like, okay, I got this. You've, sorted out all the issues. I'm still like, what the heck am I doing here? Okay, let's take an 11/0 seed bead and we are gonna put a knot in the end. This is gonna hide under our teacup. I didn't know if this is gonna work. Okay, I'm just gonna clip this. Yeah, because see, it's on the wrong side. It has to be on the inside. Here, let's try this. Okay, that's gonna work. Wow, I can't believe it was that difficult. So pick up your first 6mm pearl. Take your circle of 4mm pearls, put that on there. Then go through your 14mm pearl, add your second round of 6mm pearls, like that. And then add your 6mm pearl. Let's draw this all down. There. So that should hold it in place. Let's get an 11/0 and we are going to bring that down. So this will secure it. Like that. Now we're going to skip the 11/0. We're going to go through the 6mm pearl, through the 14mm pearl. You can find the hole. There it is. And go through the 6mm on the other side and bring it through. And it should pull the other in like this. There. So now we are secure. Okay, I'm going to go through this 11/0. Now we're going to go back through everything. We're going to come out and we're going to start adding stuff. It's the 11 O's. Go through and come out of the 14 millimeter pearl, but inside your ring of 4 millimeters. Don't go through your 6/0 at this point. So pull everything in. And now we are going to go through, doesn't matter which 4 millimeter pearl, I'm going to go through that. And now we're going to add 5 11 O's, and we're going to go around. Let me double check. I think it may be, we need to put, I know what it is. We need to put, let's just go through all of them and add 1 bead. That. You kind of want it to sit nicely on either side. And go through this one, and I think this is where our knot is. Lately, I've had these days where the videos are not going the way they're not being nice. Just put a bead in between each, and then we'll come back and add the embellishment. There we go. Go through the next one. Now, if you want to, you can use smaller beads, but I think I had thought about doing smaller beads after I got it done. I thought it looked really massive, but when I went away from it for a bit and then came back, I was like, this looks really cool. So let's leave it. So pick up an 11/0. You're coming into this 4 millimeter pearl. You're going to go into the next one. The other thing I found awkward with this is everything turns. So it feels a bit awkward until you get the two ends connected. So go through the next pearl. Okay. Now we're going to go through the 11/0 that we added. Get my thread down this way. I am going to adjust the camera. I'm noticing I'm pulling the other way. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to add 5 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 11/0s. Go from this bead to this bead. Like that. So it creates this. Did I pick it? Yeah, okay, 5. There. And just go around adding 5 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 11/0s. Coming out of this 11/0, go into this 11/0. that. Pick up 5. Go through the next 11 row. You could probably add like different color seed beads to alternate it as well. If you wanted the seed beads all to be a different color rather than everything be gold, but I kind of wanted the gold to represent the opulence of the Marie Antoinette box. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's our final 5 on this one. Oh no, we have another one. Like that. So one more. It looks wonky. Don't worry. It's going to look amazing. One, 5. You're going to go through the last 11 row like that. And then you're going to go through the next 4mm pearl. That. Okay. You're going to go down through your 14mm. You're going to come out the other side of it, and we're going to do the same for the other beads. Let's put those where you can see them. That. So we're going to go ahead and let's go through this hole here. Go through your 4mm, adding 1 bead in between each 4mm. Now I had thought about stringing the seed bead with the 4mm, but it would definitely give it a different look. Because these guys would be out a little further. So go through this 11 O's in place. So I hope everybody had a wonderful Halloween. We were getting the remnants of the tropical storm, which is common here in Nova Scotia. This is the time of the year, and it was hitting the trough of rain was hitting right between dinner time and the evening when the kids come out. So there was some talk of, possibly changing it to Saturday. I think the city, whoever's in charge of those decisions, didn't want to make that call. So we had 3 groups of children that came out in a bunch. So it looked like parents had, got together and said, oh, well, let's meet and then go do some. So maybe they had parties, because usually we have about 100 kids, and we only know by how many candy we buy, so, and what's left. But we have way too much candy left. I told my wife, get rid of that thing. She's like, no, I'm enjoying eating it. It's my only time of year to, okay. Okay, so we've got each of the 11 O's around, and we're going to do the 5. Double check my numbers here. Yeah, 5. So go through, coming out of the 11 O, you're going to go through the next 11 O. You know what I found with this design is it looks really cool. The concept is cool, but this idea of having to secure your thread and beads is a bit of a headache, and I don't like having knots in different places and stuff like that. Like this little, it's going to be covered, but oh, that annoys me. Don't they know beading's supposed to be fun? There. The fun part's coming when you start putting them together. It's just, for me anyway, it's very satisfying. Let me know if you got your box yet and what you're doing, if you've made anything. I'm really interested. And if you want to share images of what you're making, feel free to go to the John Bead Facebook page and do that. Carmi takes care of that and loves getting information. So I'm going to go through this 11O here, but then I'm going to pass through to the middle bead of this. So let's go through this one to start with. And pass through here. And this is the middle bead here. We only need 4 beads, and I'll double check that to connect the 2. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all we need. See what I mean? It's like, it's alive. So pick up 4. That. Now, you can pay attention to what side of the bead you're coming out of. It just makes it a little more consistent. So then when you go to grab the middle bead on the other side, you're going to grab it the same way, like that. And I feel like maybe I need a little more here. So go like this, pull that through, like that. So what you're going to do is, we came through this middle bead of the bottom. We're going to skip that one. We're going to go up through the 4 that we added on. Like that. Pull through. It's going to loosen, but then it'll tighten again. Like that. Go to the other side of that middle bead, like that, and then you're going to go through to the next peak. So this will tighten it nicely. Like this. into that. Okay. And make your way to the next point. So go through that little side bead that we added. Go down to the middle. Now, if you want, you can go across to the other side, but because I've counted these out and they are exactly 4, you don't have to worry about going to the total opposite side. You can go to the very next one. It will work out. These are things I think about. Again, with the focus. Yeah, these are the things I think about when I'm doing designs. Like, maybe I should be going across. I don't think you need it at all, because mine was really lopsided, and by the time I got to the end, this is what it looked like. And I'll show you in a second I made a mistake on it. I keep my mistakes to last. Okay, so we've gone through the middle bead. We're going to add 4. Then, so we're on the right side of that middle bead. You're going to go to the right side of the middle bead on the bottom, like that. Pull through. And you're going to go back through the 4 that you added and on the other side of the middle bead. I put my finger there and pull everything tight. There. And move on to the next one. So you have to make your way over to the next point. That. There's 2 beads, and then we'll have to go through the third. So because we added 5, the third one is your middle bead. Like that. Oh my. Okay, we're going to add 4 beads, 4 11 O's, and I'm going to flip this. You can see we're going to go through the middle bead on the bottom from the right side. Okay, this is the middle bead. There. That through. Okay. I'm going to go back through the 4 beads that we added. That. There. Then go to the left side of that middle bead. So you see, because we've pulled on it, it's going down. So you want to make sure you grab it from the left side. It will just even it out. So like that. And just pull it a bit snug there. You can adjust these. Okay, now make your way to the next point. So you have to go through these beads here. Go through 3 beads here. We'll give you the midpoint like that. Add 4 beads, 4 11 O's. Come down. on the right side of the middle bead from the bottom. That. Then go through the 4 beads we added, like that. And pull it down. Go to the left side of the bead that's directly on top of where you're coming out of, because that's your mid bead. You want to position it correctly. So you can see it's starting to really take shape. Go up through the last 2 beads in that little peak. That. Go through the middle bead that's in between the 2 pearls. There. And go make your way to the 3rd bead, which is your middle bead, like that. There. Add 4 levanos, like that. And go through the right side of the middle bead on the bottom and bring that right up. Go through the 4 that we just added and cinch it tight. There. Go around the left side, the bead on top, the one you're coming out of. We were looking up our insurance coverage for vision because I'm having a hard time seeing my little beads now. We can't have that. Okay, so I was able to make it through a few here. There's our middle bead right here. This is the last one. Okay, pick up 4. So I have to wait till January to get my new glasses. And pick up the middle bead at the bottom. Then go through the 4 beads we just added, like that. And get it snug there. Then go to the left side of the bead on top of that, like that. And then go through your last 2 beads here. There. And look what you have. How is that? So I'm going to go through the these next beads just to anchor your thread, and then we'll go around and add the crystals. That. So at this point too, if there's any areas you feel needs some, like, you could add a little more like tension to these. And I'm just looking, this one looks small compared to the others. That's what I was going to tell you, that I thought I made a mistake on this one here. Yeah, I did. Look at how tiny it is compared to the other windows. And so I ended up skipping a bead in here. But you really can't tell if you're wearing them. So Let's put our crystals in. So let me just get my thread back up. Like that. Oh, that's snug. Yeah, where did I put those? Well, I put them right in between those two things, so we could have used that, but so go back to the middle beads on the top. Well, at this point, it doesn't matter which is top and which is bottom, but once we put our first one in, then it does. You will have a top and a bottom. So let's go through this middle bead here. And I put an 11-0, a crystal, bicone crystal. Let me get these over here. That. You're going to put an 11-0 bicone and 11-0. Then go through the next middle bead like that. That's lovely. 11-0 bicone, 11-0. Go through the next middle bead. Oh yeah, this is really lovely. You could do after I made this, I was like, you could do like a carousel looking one with like pinks and fun colors. That would be so cool. So 11-0 bicone, 11-0. Go through the very next middle bead like that. 11-0 bicone, 11-0. Go through the next middle bead. These are very decadent. Perfect for the Marie Antoinette. I think I had an aunt. I'll have to get my sister to tell me. I think I had an aunt named Antoinette. Great aunt. Oh, it looks awesome from the top too. Okay, our last one. 11-0 crystal, 11-0. And you could put whatever you want there or just leave it without. Go through the middle. And I'm going to go through the next one. And then I'm going to go through the middle bead, but I'm going to go up the side because we want to make our way to the middle, because now we're going to add our top and bottom embellishments. So pull it tight there. Oh, this looks lovely. No, I'm glad we figured it out. Thanks for helping me figure it out. Okay, let me go through one of the 4mm pearls. And I'm going to go down through the large 14mm pearl, and you can kind of like jiggle things around to see where it is. And you can come out on the other side and then go through your 6mm pearl. That's a lot easier than trying to find the holes. There, go through that 6mm. It is a little bit tricky, so let me see if this is going to cover it. I cannot pick up these teacups. I think my needle's bent on the end, so let's take a look at what that, if it covers it. It's kind of sketchy. I had a feeling I should have used an 11 or a 15-0. So I think if you were doing this, what you might want to do is, instead of adding an 11-0 right at your 6-0 pearl, you should probably add your teacup and then the 11-0. And you basically have to deal with, you can see there's lots of thread there and lots of thread on the bottom. I didn't like that, but I'm gonna leave it. It's not much I can do right now. So we need, since this is the bottom, we're going to add that. We are going to add three. So this is driving me nuts. I wonder if I brought my thread. No, you know what? It would come off. I was thinking if I took my needle, put it through that thread. This is how I think. And then break that bead. But you know what happened is this thread would be drawn inside, and it would get super loose. You know what? I think we're going to try it. I'm going to go through that twice and then make a knot. And of course, it's twisted now. There we go. Let's see if we can get this to... Nope. This is what I say when you're doing knots in your thread, to make sure it doesn't like jump a bead, because this is the kind of thing, the knot's right there, but I have all this thread that still has to go through. There we go. Okay, let me see if I can... There we go. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my teacup that will not go on my needle and add one bead. We can add more after. let's pop this crystal. So this is how you break a bead when you get stuck in a problem like this. Okay, now it'd probably be good to put a piece of tissue around it so you don't get like glass everywhere. So let's just cover it. So there's the bead. I put my needle in there to protect the thread. Feels like I'm on the bead. I am too. So now just, you heard that? Usually it crushes it to a bunch of pieces. Let me see. It may have just chipped it a bit. Let me see what we have. Yeah, I think we need to try. A little piece came off. So let's get back here. I'm going to do it without so you can see what happens. There. There's the glass. Ta-da! You didn't know you were going to learn that trick, did you? You know what? Some people like freak out when I do that, but it's not my fault. Jill Wiseman taught me that trick. You get to a point in your design, you're like, oh, I just need to get rid of this bead. So, okay, so what I did was I added 3 11-0s and went around. So let's add 2 to start with. So this one's going to sit here. This one's going to sit on the one side of the pearl. Like that. So we need another 11-0 to go on the other side. This. We are going to go to the other side of that first 11-0. And it'll create a little kind of triangle. So go to the other side like that. Okay, I'm going to take my thread and push it all the way up to the teacup. You can hold it this way and do it like that. So we're going to go through a few more times just so that, you know, we have more than one piece of thread attaching the pearl like that. And the other thing that I did wrong too is you see how it doesn't move very much. And look at this one's nice and loose. You know, these type of earrings you want to be you want to see movement. So just get this all the way up here. Bring this one up. Oh, look, my glue thing came off. I guess you're going to see me glue some stuff together. Oh my gosh. I am just not having much luck with this. Okay, let me get this one here. Trying to get that snug up against the pearl and the teacup. Now I have nothing to hang on to. Okay, let's undo this. This is not friendship. Bring that. Let's go out here. And that looks like it made a knot. Take my needle off. I got one problem fixed and then I end up with another. Oh, this is just ridiculous. Okay. Take it right off. I don't know why this is not cinching up. I think I figured out what's happened is I've probably poked my thread. So that's probably why it's not moving. Yeah, I could feel some tension. Okay, let's rethread this. And I would have gone through, like go one pass and then go through all the beads and go up to the top, come back down. But I thought we could just do a loop and that was not the case. So let's just go through everything up here. There. So it tends to like sometimes go through really easy on the once everything's lined up. So normally what I do is I'm looking at that. Oh, friendship. Normally what I do is I put the top and the bottom on all at the same time and we go back and forth through. But I felt like I needed to put everything in place. So let's get this guy on. And again, we're going to have to crack that bead. Let's get our ear wire. So with your ear wires, you got to make sure that the hole for the loop is closed as much as possible so your thread doesn't pass through it. That looks pretty good. I think that's both sides. There. And I'm just going to close this. Perfect. Through here. I'm going to go through the teacup again. So I pass through the ear wire, go through the teacup, but from the top this time. That. And because we put a knot in here, I want to make sure I'm going to secure that thread and keep it so that it doesn't go down into the bead and loosen something further down. This is not the correct way to do this, so I apologize. I was so excited. I was like, oh, I want to show you. I want to show you all my mistakes. I want to get, there's 2 threads here, so I want to get through both of them. Okay, we'll do one and then the other. There, I can see it now. See, I can see the knot here. I could probably just undo the knot. Don't get any bright ideas, Emma. Okay. Let's get rid of this bead here. Oh, that one's... Oh, I had it on the side. Just make sure all the pieces are gone. And make sure you throw that out. Okay. Now we're going to go through and we're going to go down to the bottom. That. And you can see it's bringing in that just lovely. Okay. So now let's straighten out this. We are going to go to the other side of this bead here, because this I want to be the main bead, and then I want 2 beads on either side of the prong. That. Okay. So then we'll take and go through here. There. Through the prong. There. Move this. Okay. Go up through the teacup, through the 6, 6-0, through the 14, and just kind of jiggle your needle till you find it. And if it comes out the side, that's fine. That. Okay, I'm going to make a knot here. So I'm just going to put my needle behind, wrap it around. Let's try that again. Actually, I'm not going to bother. There's an easier way to do that. So let's find how to get through this 6-0. And that's how I was getting my needle bent. If you have a major problem doing that, just go back out and come back all at once. There we go. There's the needle coming through. I must have gone through some thread there because it's really stuck. There. Just if you get stuck like that, use your pliers, and if you wiggle the beads around, it'll usually dislodge it. So I want to make sure I went through the ear wire a few times. Now this time here, I think we had a lot of thread there, so let's see if we can stay away from that thread. Seems to be going through it. There, that went nicely. So let's go all the way to the bottom. There, come out the side. Like that. There, your ear wire is on. And your pearl is somewhat on. Okay, so now you're coming out of this 6-0. We can actually go through pearl. Let's move over. Go through pearl. Like that. And we will. Let's go through this one here. We'll do a little knot like that. Let's go around your needle, hold it in place. There's your knot, and we'll just go up and around, and I'll end it through a pearl. There, like that. There is your earring. That's crazy. That took a lot longer than it should have. I apologize. And let's glue this guy on. So I use these 6,000. I stopped using like Loctite and crazy glue and stuff like that. I found that it was leaving this white residue on my work, and it just disgusting. So the thing with this is you have to leave it a little longer to cure. There's probably still some glue in there, so that's why it's not. So try to get some inside the hole. And not too much on the tip, because when we press this down, that glue is going to come out the side. Now, great thing about the 6000 is it peels off around the edges pretty easily. So there you go. We got here. That's all that matters. You know what? Some designs are super simple. I was like looking at the earrings going, are they the same ear wires? Yeah, sometimes designs are just very, they come together nicely. Other times they need a little work. So I did find with these, I forgot about this idea of stringing your pearls or your beads, connecting it through a big pearl, that you have to do that, you have a few things that you have to do lining up, as well as the, where you put your knots and stuff like that. But these are worth it. Take care, everybody. By the way, I have to say, so I will put the links in the description for the John Bead Friends and Family site. The new holiday box is available for pre-sale. That's my box. It's called Mistletoe Magic, so you have to order it. It's apparently going to be the biggest box ever. There's going to be a present in it, or a few presents in it as well, on top of the box. So yeah, definitely take a look. And there's subscriptions available. So pay attention, go to the site. If you're interested in a subscription and you think they're all sold out, every month, people who have subscriptions had the option to suspend or to stop their subscription. So there's always subscriptions available again. So it's not a static thing. They do add extra numbers as well. So there's that. Stay tuned for some of the more easier designs with less destruction, less glue, and less thread. No, I'm kidding. There's going to be lots of all of that. Take care, everybody. Bye.